and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good people of YouTube. Hope you're feeling grand, and always well in your world. Hello there, everybody. I am very, very tired today. I didn't sleep, I don't think. I'm in that weird phase. Anyway, another A&Q Wednesday, everybody. Oh, by the way, there's two intro jams today. Well, there's technically an intro jam and an outro jam over the same backing track. Because I'm not here, I really struggled today. I had to really fight to get the intro jam to play. I was just like, because my brain's on like a million miles an hour today because of stress. I was finding it hard to turn off. So there's two versions of the intro jam. There's one at the beginning and one at the end. People of the tube, which one did you prefer and why? Why not? Let's see which one you preferred. Because I'm in two different minds in both of them. What that mind was, I don't remember anymore because I'm not there. But anyway, this should make a very interesting AQ because I'm like half asleep. Anyway, let's get on to question one, shall we? Okay, so question one today is why don't you continue lessons on Instagram instead of YouTube? It's a good question, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, well, in all fairness, I do know. I can only upload 10-minute videos to Instagram, and it takes ages to upload. Like, way longer than it should do, really. I don't know if it's my phone or my internet connection or what it is. But it just takes forever to upload, and it gets a bit tedious after a while, just kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. But it's a good point. I mean, I would like to kind of like do kind of like some more kind of like teaching vids on Instagram and that kind of thing, just to kind of like, you know, get back into that thing again, because I miss teaching songs. That's what I really miss teaching. I love teaching songs because that's what I enjoy playing most of the time. I've recently discovered I don't actually like noodling about on guitar. I don't mind doing it kind of like finger exercise. I should have definitely done that this morning. I should have warmed up. My fingers were just like rebelling. They were just like, we can't do this, Dave. We're not awake enough. So I should have done that this morning. That was very silly fault though. But I don't mind doing that kind of thing. Like, you know, if it's just kind of like, you know, finger exercise kind of things, just to kind of like warm up or this, that, and the other. But I like playing songs, you know, and I like learning songs, and I miss teaching songs because obviously, you know, YouTube's having to abide by copyright law more now. It's just impossible. You can't really. Well, some people can. I can't. Some people can teach songs, but I can't for some reason. I don't understand that one. But hey. But yeah, maybe in the future, if I can get my brain around it, yeah, hopefully in the future I'll be able to kind of I'll do some lessons on Instagram and stuff like that. But for this point in time, it's kind of like one of those things where it's just gonna have to take a bit of a back seat, so to say. I'm happy I'm doing the blues lessons again. I'm really enjoying doing that, to be honest. It's terrifying, utterly terrifying to do the blues lessons. Every time I do a video, I'm utterly terrified of it. Like, I sweat so much, like I lose like half my body weight during those videos, and I can't afford to lose body weight. Look at me, I'm a stick. But no, I mean, they are. Teaching videos are dead nerve-wracking, but I think that's a good thing. I think they should be nerve-wracking. I think, you know, because it keeps you on your toes and it doesn't make you get complacent with what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's much in the same way as a gig. You know, a gig should be a nerve-wracking experience. The more you kind of like get kind of like I'm not bothered about a gig, is like the more I feel like, you know, you shouldn't be kind of like, you know, you shouldn't be really. I think you should be scared and excited all at the same time, and kind of each one feeds the other, and that's great. You know, you should be excited and scared all at the same time. And if you're just kind of like blasé about it, it's kind of like But that's me. It doesn't mean anything to anybody but me, that one. But no, I mean, I do love teaching videos. I like sharing my knowledge and stuff with you out there. It's really, really cool. I've got another video coming up soon about kind of like guitar licks and stuff like that. I do apologise, people on YouTube. So sorry. Ugh. So sorry about the yawning. But yeah, I mean, hopefully in the future I'll be able to get back to kind of like doing that kind of thing on Instagram. But I just need to get my head around doing it on Instagram and doing it on a phone. because I like to explain things in as much detail as I do, 10 minutes is just not long enough, and I don't want to do it in parts, because then it'll just be a nightmare for people to watch. Because it's like, 10 minutes here, part 1, 10 minutes there, part 2, 10 minutes there, part 3. It's just a nightmare, and I can't be bothered with that. It's just ridiculous. That's why I like doing long videos. I can explain everything properly and get it out the way I can get it out, if that makes any sense. Anyway, but yeah, maybe in the future I'll get around to doing Instagram lessons on guitar. I can do a couple of things here and there. So yeah, no more yawning, Dave. I'm gonna yawn again. I do apologise, people. Am I infecting anybody with my yawns yet? Okay, so question 2 today. We're gonna move on to question 2. 2, yes, there we are. I am totally out of my brain, aren't I? It's great. Okay, so question 2's got a couple of different questions to it. So, different parts to it, should we say. So, question 2, part A, is what is your dream? I mean, I don't know, in life or what? I mean, sorry. No, my dream in general is just to be able to play guitar and make music for the rest of my life. That's it. I don't care about becoming rich and famous. I'm not interested in that at all. I am interested in the fact of I want to be able to live comfortably off making music and playing my guitar for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. That's my dream in life, and lucky at this point in time, thanks to you lot out there and a friend, family, I'm able to do that, so I'm forever grateful, I'm able to live the dream right now, which is just beyond, I'm just, every day I get to wake up and do what I want to do, like music wise, and that's just like the biggest gift I could ever get. You know what I mean? It's just so humbling, and the fact that it's because of you out there, and like I say, my family supporting me and stuff like that, and I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful every day. So, what is my dream? That just the rest of my life, I just want to make music and make a living out of music, just so I can be comfortable. I don't want the mansion and all the riches and limos and all that kind of thing. I don't care about that. That's not why I play music. I don't play music because I want to be famous and rich and this and that. I play music because I love music. I love the guitar. I love making songs and music and playing my guitar. I'm not. I'm not in it for those reasons, but that some people unfortunately are in it. It's just to make money, become rich and famous and well known and all this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, I don't really understand that personally, because my love of music comes way above any of that stuff. I don't really have any interest in that. In all fairness, it actually scares me. The fame machine is a terrifying thing. It terrifies the monkeys out of me. It really does. I don't like the idea of it at all. It scares me. But I'll say I'm here because I love music, and that's what I want for my life, and that's what I'm working for every day, is to be able to kind of like maintain and keep this dream a reality. That's why I'm here, so to say. So yeah, that's that one. So the question 2 part B is, how do you want your life to be? Well, I mean that's just kind of like goes hand in hand with what is my dream, really, doesn't it? It's like this. I just want to be able to wake up every day and create music videos for you lot, and also create songs and play my guitar and write new songs, new riffs, new ideas, this and the other, see where it's going to go from one day to the next. That's what I want to do. That's what my life, that's what I want my life to be. It's just involved in this thing and these things and these pedals that are in front of me, and you lot as well. I just want to be able to kind of like do that. That's the dream for me. And question 2 part C is exactly the same kind of thing. How would your days look? Well, it would just start with me getting up not half asleep like this for a start, and just basically just doing what I do like now. Like I say, just I get up and I play guitar and I make music, and some days I'll record a song. Some days most days I film videos and edit videos, and then I'll play guitar more, and then I go out, because you can't stick in the house all day. You need to get fresh air. Although if I didn't need that, I would just become a hermit, and just kind of like just lock myself away with my guitars, and no one would ever see me. you know, if I could get away with that, I would do that. But I can't get away with that because it would damage me very, very badly mentally, and you can't do that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean that's it really. I mean that is my life. I mean that's and I say thanks to you lot. That's a reality that I intend to keep for as long as I can. You know, this is what I want to do with my life. This is, you know, as soon as I found the guitar at 16, this is all I wanted to do, and nothing's changed. You know, my drive and brain pattern are still very much aimed that way. You know, of like, you know, this is what I want to do. You know, and nothing's going to get in the way of that. I don't want anything to get in the way of that. This is where we go, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean that's it really. So yeah, how do I, you know, what's my dream? What would my life be? And what would my days look like? Exactly where I am now. I'm one happy little bunny right now. You know, life's awesome right now. You know, of course there's always problems. You know, life gets in the way. Unfortunately, we're all human. We all have woes and trouble and issues that come in that drain you and kind of like, you know, steer you off course a bit, and you know, but that's life, isn't it? You know, it gets really good and it gets really bad, and then it gets really good and it gets really bad, and it gets really good and gets really bad. It never plateaus. You know, it's always up and down like a yo-yo, which in all fairness, I mean that's kind of how you know, as much as like, you know, pain and heartache and sadness and loss and all that kind of thing are all kind of like grim parts of life, you know what I mean? But you kind of need them, because if it was just good all the time, you know, there's nothing to balance it. You know, you need that balance, unfortunately. You need the humbling experiences that you have in life to just ground you and pull you back down, instead of just kind of like flying high all the time. Because, you know, if everything's good all the time, it just leads to ego problems, I think, and problems in general. You know, it's not reality. You know what I mean? And there is a thing these days, again, with the advent of social media. This isn't going to turn into a social media rant. I'm going to try not to anyway. But everyone kind of leads a bit of a fake life. You know, the Instagram, Facebook life, that I like to call it, and I think quite a lot of people call it, where it's kind of like, you know, everything's hunky-dory all the time, and, you know, there's never any bad going wrong. And it's like, well, no, there is. You know, just because you don't, you know, post it doesn't mean it's not there, kind of thing. And it's a bit false, and I don't like it. You know, if you're in a bad mood, be in a bad mood, man. You know, if you're upset, be upset. If you're, you know, if you're happy, be happy. If you're excited, be excited. But don't sugarcoat it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, just because it's social media, or you know, you think you should have that life. You know what I mean? Like, you know, oh, well, everyone else seems to have that life, I should have that as well. You know, just copying everybody else, kind of thing, just because. Or these celebrities, you know, who have, like, you know, oh, look at me in my $1 million mansion and this, that, and the other, and everything's great and dandy. It's like, is it? Is it really? I bet it's not. But that's me. What do I know? I'm just an idiot who plays guitars. But yeah, so. But yeah, I mean, like I say, coming back to the question, I divert. But yeah, I'm just. This is my. Yeah, this is all I want my life to be. You know, I'm so happy where I am. You know, obviously, you know, there's obviously some things that could be better, but hey, what's new there? You know, there's always something that can be better in your life. You know, you know, that's just the way that goes, isn't it? You know, you can't have everything. Like I say, you can't have everything good all the time. You can't have everything you want. You know, just because you want something or someone or whatever doesn't mean you're gonna get that. You know what I mean? So, you know, such is life. You know, it is what it is. Anyway, people of the tube. Like I said, I don't like the idea of people masking emotions and masking how they really are. Like, I could have easily not filmed today and be not in this weirdo mood that I'm in, where I'm half asleep and I'm struggling to play the guitar because I can't keep my brain on the guitar. It keeps drifting off to other things, so I keep getting taken out of the moment. You know, I could easily not film today, but there's no point in me kind of not doing it, because tomorrow could be a really good day, and if I film tomorrow, it might miss out this emotion. And I think it's important to show your emotions no matter what. And I've got another video I'm going to film tomorrow, because I film every day apart from the weekends now, because I realise that I have to have some time off, otherwise I'm going to kill myself. Which I don't want to have. I hate having time off. I hate not filming videos, making music, and playing guitar. I hate not doing it. Like I say, if I could, I would. This is, you know, this is all I do. But like, if I had the stamina to do it, 7 days a week, 24/7, I would do it. But unfortunately, I don't. I burn myself out. I remember I worked last year. I filmed a video last year every day for 3 months, and made myself ill because I burnt myself out basically. And it was at that point I was really like, yeah, I've got to be careful. I'm going to have to figure out a routine here. So my routine is I film 5 days and then take 2 days off where I don't film, but I end up filming because I can't stop myself. But yeah, so anyway, but again, it's because I love what I do. You know what I mean? I've got no desire to do anything else, and because I love what I do and I've got no desire to do anything else, I throw everything I've got at this and music and the guitar. You know what I mean? Granted, I don't practice guitar as much as I used to, kind of like from a technical aspect. I play a lot, but I play songs. I like playing songs. Like I said earlier on, I've recently discovered that I'm not the biggest fan of just noodling about on guitar anymore. It's starting to like, just sitting there with guitar and kind of doing stuff like this. Where's a pick? I know there's one up here somewhere. There's one. Ooh, and Eric Johnson, Jazz Free. Sitting there and going, doing these kind of like finger exercise. I don't mind doing them if I'm trying to warm up. Like, for instance, today I should have warmed up because I can feel my fingers are a bit sluggish. Yeah, my fingers aren't quite there today. Instead of kind of doing that too much, like I say, which I don't mind doing, like I said, if I need to warm up, that makes total sense. But I don't like sitting there just noodling about. I'd rather play a song or a blues, like 12-bar thing, or come up with ideas, or ideas for songs. And I've got so many song ideas at this point in time, it's just a bit mental, and I need to start kind of recording them and getting them done. And getting them out to you lot because I've got too many and they're just stacking, and I need to keep on top of this, otherwise it's just going to run away with me, and I'm going to start forgetting some of the other ones, and then I won't record them, and then I'll just get lost to the annals of time, and I don't want that to happen. Because even if a song might not be great, I think, even if you don't think the song's great, I think it's better to record it, because just because you don't think it's great doesn't mean that somebody else might not love it, if that makes sense. Same way as gear and stuff like that. But I like kind of like sitting down with a guitar and going, right, well, what's going to come out of the guitar today? That, and it's like, that's a song. There's a song in there. You know what I mean? That's a song. I have to remember that. I like that. It's cool. But you know what I mean? There's a song in there. That's what I like to do more these days than kind of just sitting there going... that kind of thing. It gets a bit tedious for me now, that does. But in all fairness, I've always preferred playing songs and writing songs to the technical wizardry of guitar. It's why I'm not technically that great on guitar. I can play, obviously, I can get by, but I'm not a whiz kid on the guitar. You know what I mean? But again, that's not what it's about for me. I'm not about big, fast shred, look at me guitar playing. I'm about making the notes that you play mean something. So, like, for instance, today, like, I was getting pulled, and you'll probably be able to see it. I could feel this. I can still feel it now. I was getting pulled into fast in the intro jams. And then there was that side of me that goes, no, because there's that side of me going, no, that's not what we need to be doing today. And I think the intro has more of that kind of like proper where I want to be, of kind of like the notes matter more than the last one you're going to hear later on. But I don't know, people actually let me know on that one. But I was in a conflict today where I was like, there was that part of me that's just kind of like, it was just aimlessly noodling during the intro jam. And then there was that part of me that goes, no, it needs to mean something. And I was kind of like in a conflict and this weird battle going on between just kind of like trying to find the notes that kind of fit and work and say something in relation to that part of my brain that kind of goes like, I'm just going to go fast, which, I try and kind of, that has its place. But when I'm in that kind of mood, that's the wrong place for this. It can't just be noodling really, really fast just because. It needs to mean something, And I think the first intro jam is the which funny enough, the first intro jam is actually the second take. The last one you're gonna hear is the first take, and I think the first take, the one at the end of this video, is not as good. But again, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt the intro of this one, take 2. I felt take 2 more than take 1, but I didn't want to delete take 1, so I thought I'm just gonna put both in the video. So I do apologize with my phone. Anyway, I don't mind doing stuff like that if I need to warm up, like I do today, because I'm half asleep, so my fingers aren't. They're not behaving properly, so I need to. Yeah, a bit of hesitation there. It means my fingers are just like, where are we going? It's because I'm half asleep. My brain's not working, and when you run these things, you're playing from your brain. That's the point of that. That's when you're running scales and stuff like this and finger exercises. You're playing from your brain. Because you need to play from your brain when you're doing these things, because that's the only way you kind of like, you need to think about where you're going and stuff like that. But when you're actually playing musical songs, I do apologize with my phone again. I think that's when it switches from there to there, and then all of a sudden, it starts to, you feel it a bit more. Anyway, I don't even know where I am anymore. Where did I go? Okay, so anyway, we're still on question 2, aren't we? Oh my god, where are we, Dave? I knew this was going to happen. But again, what's the point in masking this? I want you to see, this because, I think it's important that people see all different things of you. Again, don't wear a mask. Be you. Good or bad or ugly. In my case, ugly. Okay, so anyway. Question 2, part last bit. Sorry, that took me right out of the world, that one, didn't it? Anyway. So the last part of question 2 is, if you had unlimited money, I wish, and could choose one guitar from a shop, what would it be? Now, this is crazy. So, I don't know. See, that'd be really good. It'd be a Strat. My good gravy. I need to learn, don't I? Okay, so we're actually gonna learn here, and we're actually gonna put the phone on silent because I'm an idiot and I'm tired. Okay, so, if I had unlimited money, which guitar from a shop would I choose? It'd probably be a vintage Strat. I'd probably be driving to Paris, to Matt's guitar shop again, and I'd be like, how much for the Jimi Hendrix White 63 Strat? I have, name your price, I'll pay it. Because in all fairness, Jimi Hendrix's name on that White Stratocaster aside, that guitar was immense. It just as a guitar goes. Like I say, if it didn't have Jimmy's name attached to it, it would still be a great guitar. It's one of those vintage guitars where you're like, I get it. You know what I mean? It's not one of those vintage guitars where you're like, meh. You know what I mean? Because I've played plenty of them, and there are plenty of them out there where it's like, meh. But that Jimmy's 63, aside from it being Jimmy's, and I say looking at it subjectively, was a great guitar. It sounded amazing. It felt the neck. Oh my god, the neck. Oh, it was an amazing guitar, and it sounded great. It felt great. It was so good. So it'd probably be that one. It'd be probably Jimi Hendrix's 63 Strat from that I got to play at Matt's in Paris. I'd be driving there like if like all of a sudden like money became no object. I wish, don't we all? I'd be driving there very, very fast and getting that guitar. And probably John Frusciante's 335 while I was at it as well. Like, name your price, I'll have it. Actually, in all fairness, there's quite a lot of guitars in Matt's collection I would like to get. There's Spot, there's Jimi Hendrix's 63, there's John Frusciante's 335, there's that Martin 0015. I think it's 0015. What else did he have that was amazing? What didn't he have that was amazing? Apart from the Michelangelo Battio guitar. That wasn't amazing. Forgive me. But it really wasn't. Oh, that was bizarre. I don't even know what that guitar was trying to be. A rocket, maybe. Definitely wasn't much of a guitar. Anyway, he rambles too much, people are due. But yeah, it'd probably be that guitar, like I say, closely followed by basically his entire collection. Including Joe Bonamassa's Silver Jubilee that was there as well. Yeah, oh God, that lamp was good. Anyway, yeah, so if I could only pick one though, it'd be that 63 Strat of Jimmy's, because it was just so good. So good. Like I say, Jimi Hendrix's name aside of that guitar was amazing. It really was. And it just has that kind of like real special thing that not all guitars have, but that one had it in spades. Okay, so yeah, so okay, so I was question. Gonna move on to question 3 now. I do apologise how much rambling was in that question. Oh my God. Okay, so question 3. How did you go about learning guitar from the start? Okay, so coming back to a bit of question 2, I promise I will not ramble as much. How I started learning guitar was I just started learning songs, and I think that kind of like set the precedent for me. It's like I just wanted to play music. You know, the first kind of year of me playing guitar, I just learned songs. I mean, I learned all of Green Day's Dookie album front to back, Conspiracy One by The Offspring. I learned loads of punk songs and kind of like stuff like that. Obviously Chili Peppers stuff as well. I learned most of By the Way. I learned more of my second year of guitar playing. I learned all By the Way, actually, didn't I? I did learn all By the Way, yeah. I learned all of the album, the Chili Peppers album, By the Way, the second year of playing guitar, I think, or it could have been the tail end of the first year of me playing guitar. I forget, but it was when I got the Sunburst Squire. So that's second year. Definitely second year of me playing guitar. That is. I learned By the Way. Front to back as well. I like learning albums. I like learning albums front to back, or like, you know, if there's not like, you know, many songs on that album, I will just learn the ones I want to learn, kind of so to say, and stuff like that. But I do like there's definitely a kind of like cool thing of playing along to an album front to back. It's like I still do it now with Pearl Jam 10. I just put that album on and I play through the whole thing. The only ones I don't play are Deep, Ocean, and that's it. They're the only ones I don't play, because Ocean is one of those songs that kind of like I don't actually enjoy playing. I learned it, I don't remember it, but I've learned that, but I didn't get as much enjoyment out of playing it as I did listening to it, so that kind of went that way. And the same with Deep as well. Deep was a song on that album where I was like, I learned it and I was like, nah, it's not there for me. So they're the only ones I skip on the album, but other than that I play the album front to back. So it literally, I press play on the album and I go Once, Even Flow, Alive, Why Go, Black, Jeremy, and then I stop for Ocean, and then come back in again on Porch, and then Garden, and then you end up with Release. So I think that's right. I think I'm only missing 2. I could be missing more, but I'm half asleep, so I don't know. But yeah, but I like that. I like pressing play on an album and just letting it play. Same thing goes with By the Way. You know, I can do By the Way from like, you know, By the Way to This Is the Place, Dosed, Universally Speaking, Don't Forget Me. I forget the order now, but stuff like that. You know, I know these albums front to back on the guitar. The only one I don't remember on By the Way is Tear, because I did learn that, but because it's a keyboard song, I did learn the keyboard part on guitar, but I don't remember it. I know it starts on a C. I think he doesn't even know that anymore, but yeah, and one of the other parts that I don't really remember too well is the acoustic part of Venice Queen, because I haven't played. I don't really. Again, that's another song where I really like the intro of Venice Queen, the riff. I can't play just in case. You know, the calmer bit of Venice Queen, and then when it breaks to the acoustic bit, I never really liked that bit as much. So it never really sticks, you know what I mean? And I find that songs that I don't like so much don't stick. So, anyway, rambling aside, he did it again, didn't he? But yeah, how did I learn? I just learned songs. And I learned the songs that I wanted to learn, not what people would recommend me to learn, or you should be learning. I just went, I want to learn how to play that, so I'm going to learn how to play that. You know what I mean? It wasn't a case of anyone pressured me into learning any songs. when I first started, it was kind of like, what do you want to learn, Dave? I want to learn this. Let's go for it. That was the idea. That was how I treated it. It's like, if I didn't want to learn a song, I didn't want to learn it. Because I remember, like, when I first started playing guitar, Tenacious D had just brought out Tribute, and everyone around this area played Tribute, and it was almost like the kind of like mark of a good guitarist around here at the time is like, do you know how to play Tenacious D Tribute? And I never did. I to this day I don't really know it. I know it's an A minor. I can fluff it because I've seen people play it, but I've never learned it because everyone else wanted to learn it, and I didn't want to learn it. I was not interested in playing that song, and I still am not. You know what I mean? So I could probably fluff it if I had to, and I have done. But I've got no desire to learn that song. You know what I mean? It's not. And that's. I think that's the key to learning guitar in general is always learn what you want to learn, because learning what you don't want is pointless because you're just gonna forget it. You know what I mean? You're not gonna retain that song or that technique or that scale if you're not using it all the time. There was a lot of things I learned when I was at the institute in London learning guitar that I learned then that I no longer remember because I've never used it again. Much in the same way as like, when you leave school, you suddenly find out that quite a lot of the stuff you've learned at school you're never ever going to use again. So it just kind of becomes a dormant kind of thing and that you just never use. And the same thing goes with guitar. Is I think like, once you kind of learn something that you're not going to use, it just disappears. But if you learn something you want, it stays. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of, I don't know. That's the way I feel about it. But that's how I started learning guitar. I was just learning songs, learning albums front to back, being really, really kind of like strict on myself to not just learn the bit of the song I liked. Say, for instance, if I just liked the chorus of a song, I had to still learn the entire song regardless. You know what I mean? You can't just play that one bit. You know what I mean? You have to learn the whole thing. Because again, that was another thing as well. I noticed when I first started playing guitar, I had a lot of friends who played guitar, but they only knew bits of songs. So they would know like the Enter Sandman riff, but that's all they would know. They would know the Smoke on the Water riff, but that's all they would know. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't know that riff? But you know what I mean? The whole song. So I remember when it came down for me to actually learn Smoke on the Water, because eventually I wanted to learn it, because it was the first song I'd ever played on the guitar. I played it in the wrong key. I played it in the E instead of G because that's where everyone does it, the 035 thing. But when I came down to learning Smoke on the Water, I was determined to get it right and proper, and really understand what Richie plays and how he plays it and kind of like that kind of thing. And it's got the most awesome intro to a guitar solo ever. The Smoke on the Water album version guitar solo starts so cool. I don't know if I can get away with playing it, but it's that kind of like, yeah, that pre-bend, kind of like a release bend. It's so cool. I mean, that's just Richie Blackmore. That is just such a Richie Blackmore lick. But that's the thing is like, I was just very, very strict on myself. Learn the whole song. Don't just learn the bit you want to learn, and never forget that the song is not just that bit you like. It's the whole thing. You need to understand the whole thing. And some songs I would go as far as kind of like really analysing bass and drum patterns just to try and get a bit more involved. I don't do that anymore, but I did for a while where I was like, I really need to understand what the bass is doing. I really need to know what the guitars do, the drums are doing, or if there's another guitar, what it's doing, or the keyboard, what it's doing, or what's the vocal doing. Just get inside it really. Instead of just kind of like sitting on the outside and learning a bit of it. But I think it's really important to learn full songs. I don't really agree with learning bits of songs. I think it's a really bad habit personally. But yeah, so that's what I always recommend to people is learn songs, learn your favourite songs, front to back, solos, riffs, rhythms, whatever, but just learn what you want to learn. Don't learn what people tell you should be. Because invariably what they're learning might not work for you. You've got to think of it from your perspective, not somebody else's. Because the way you learn isn't going to be the way they learn. And what you want to learn isn't going to be what they want to learn. So you just see it from you. You have to be a bit selfish. And if I'm being perfectly honest about it, you have to be a little bit selfish about it. But that's okay. Because, that's the point of it. You've got to serve yourself there. You know, you've got to learn what you want to learn, especially when you are learning. Far too much use of the word learn then. But yeah, so I mean that's what I'd recommend. That's how I started, is just learning songs, learning guitar solos. I started learning guitar solos way before I understood what a pentatonic scale was. Again, no one around here could teach me what a pentatonic scale was, so I had no idea. So I made up my own kind of idea of what it was that turned out to be pentatonic scales. So, like, you know, I remember I got shown the minor pentatonic. You know, that this one. I don't remember who showed me this one, to be honest with you, but I remember somebody showing me the you know, in E minor. That I remember somebody showing me that, and then kind of going, "Oh, that's cool," but that's literally all I knew. I didn't know anything else. I didn't know the next one was a major. I didn't know further down, so I had to figure it all out myself. But that's cool. I enjoyed every second of that. Yeah, I loved every second of that, and it's awesome. I love it. But yeah. So learn songs. Just learn what you want to learn. You know, don't just learn things just because somebody told you should be learning it, kind of thing. Like, you know, it's like somebody saying, well, you need to learn this scale or this scale or this scale, and if you go, I don't really want to, then you don't. You know, until you're ready to learn that, don't bother with it, because you won't retain it. You know, you won't retain that information. It won't work. So just learn what you want to learn when you want to learn it. You know, and you know, just take it a day at a time. And just have fun with it. You know, that's the key part to it, is like, you know, to have as much fun with this as you can. You know, you don't want to be kind of like going, bored. You know, you don't want to be doing that because you're doing this for the 8th hour. You know, you don't, if you're doing that, you know, if you get bored of doing that kind of thing, you need to do, you know, find out what makes you, you know, happy and smiley, and, you know, what makes it fun. So yeah. But that's how I learned to play guitar, and kind of like that's where I still am now. Like I said, I don't really like kind of noodling so much. I'm just kind of sitting there going. I mean, it has its place, but it's not as fun to me as kind of going. See, that to me, I could do that all day, and I do all day. That's pretty much what I do. I just end up making like chord progressions up and stuff like that. Like, and I'm not a complex guitarist. I don't have any interest in being a complex guitarist, to be honest with you. Those days have gone. I mean, they might come back again at some point. I don't know, but at this point in time, I'm not interested in that. I just want to make music, you know, that connects. You know, I've spoken about that before, but anyway. But that's why I started learning guitar, and that's what I'd recommend all the time, is just learning songs, and just having fun with it is key. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to move on. We're going to run out of time. So I'm going to move on to question 4 now. I hope that's such a question. Okay, so question 4 today is, I recently bought a Boss Octaver OC5. Do you have any tips on how to use it so it doesn't feel gimmicky? I don't think an Octavia or a low octave, high octave is a gimmicky pedal. They're used a lot, definitely, I agree. But I don't think, you know, there's only certain ways you can use that thing. You look at Jimi Hendrix when he did Purple Haze and did the Octavias in there, you know, and the fire solo. You know, and obviously live with the Band of Gypsies, he used the Octavia. It's, you know, and then you kind of get the low octave thing, and you can think of bands who would kind of use that kind of, you know, White Stripes, Jack White would use it or stuff like that. Or octave dividers and stuff like that. Rory Gallagher, he used an octave divider later on in his career for Bad Penny, and certain other riffs like I Ain't No Saint and stuff like that. He would use an octave divider, a low octave, and he would solo with it on. Rory would, you know. There's a lot of footage of Rory from in the 90s, mainly of Rory with his octave pedal on, a low octave, and he'd be soloing. I think he uses it in Philby as well. I mean, I think I've heard him using it in Philby, A Bad Penny, I Ain't No Saint, Tattooed Lady. He used the octave so much. It just gave him a different sound towards the end of his career. I think that's what was going on there, and it sounds immense. It sounds immense. Rory's really snarly tone, sounds glorious, especially like at the Cork gig. He uses it. Well, and there's a Montreux gig as well, and there's other gigs as well. He uses the octave divider. It always sounds immense to me. But I mean, I don't think it's a gimmicky pedal. I think but like I say, there's only a certain amount of ways you can use an octave pedal. You can use it to, if it's a low octave, you can use it to make riffs really big. That with an octave divider would sound really, really cool, like with a low octave. And then with kind of like high octave stuff, you can kind of get that kind of Purple Hazy kind of thing, which I can't play. We're definitely not playing that because Janie Hendrix will come around to my house and knock my teeth out. But it's not a gimmicky pedal. I don't think it's like people saying like a wah pedal is a gimmicky pedal. It's like, no, it's not. I mean, in the words of Jimi Hendrix, it's like, gimmicks. Everyone gets hung up on gimmicks. It's not about that. It's and is there any way you can use it if it doesn't sound gimmicky? I don't really understand. Because I say it's a very limited use pedal, I think, an octave divider. You can use it low octave, high octave, and you can just kind of either use it for riffs or for soloing or for chords. And that's pretty much all you can do with it, which is pretty much all you can do with most stuff, I don't know many people who will find a way to use that in a way that it hasn't already been used. You know what I mean? We are, a lot of the stuff we do has already been done by other people. There's not a lot new coming out of the guitar, because there's not a lot new to really do. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Like, a lot's been done. And it doesn't mean the guitar's like, it's pointless by any stretch of imagination. There's plenty of there to be going on with. But something with an octave pedal or like a fuzz pedal or a distortion pedal or this and the other, there's only a certain amount of things you can do within reason. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's about kind of like gimmicky or whatever. It's just about kind of like what makes you happy with that pedal. What sound do you want it to do? When I have my low octave pedal on, when I have an octave divider and I have it kind of like set to the low octave, I love playing riffs. Like in the Tysco video, I use the octave divider tons there because I like that idea of like, it follows your riffs. I think it's really, really cool, and I like that. I like it on that. High octave, I don't really use high octave stuff that much, to be honest with you, but because I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I don't like the Octavia sound. If I'm being perfectly honest, I like it for certain things here and there, but it's not a sound that I would choose to use, especially not over a low octave. I prefer the lower octave. But if I was to use a high octave, it would just mainly be used for solos. I wouldn't use it for riffs because it kind of goes away, and I don't really like the sound of it on riffs anyway, even if it doesn't kind of go away. But if you're kind of doing a solo up here on your neck pickup with kind of loads of double stop thing, it sounds immense. Those kind of those high octave things sound really, really cool. But I'd much prefer a whammy pedal, to be honest with you, over a high octave kind of pedal where you turn it on and it gives you that high octave. I'd much prefer a whammy pedal where I can have control over it, if that makes any sense. Low octave definitely is really, really cool. I just like to turn that thing on and have it big and boomy and have the guitar. And in all fairness too, is like another thing about with a low octave guitar thing. I always like the low octave to be louder than the actual guitar signal by a little bit. So like the guitar signal will sit there, and I like the low octave just to sit a little bit above it, just to kind of like make it fatter, and I like that. So it's really cool. But I mean, like I say, the Octavia is like you can only do so much with it. But if you watch people like Rory and if you look for Rory in the 90s and people like Jack White, he's got some really cool riffs in the White Stripes where he's using kind of octave dividers and stuff like that. Blue Orchid's one. There's quite a lot of bands out there use those things to their advantage. It's really, really cool. What's the band? Royal Blood. I mean, but again, this is the thing you see. You can only do so much with stuff like that, before you have to incorporate something else. You know, otherwise it just becomes sterile. You know, I don't think it becomes a gimmick at that point. I think it's kind of like more the fact it just kind of like it typecasts, and you kind of don't want that. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm just kind of like using kind of octave files, like I say, I use low octaves for riffs and I use high octaves for solos, but I don't really like the high octave on solos. You know, the low octave on solos is really cool because I heard Rory use it, and I associate that with him, which is never a bad thing. You know, I like that. That's really, really cool. But like I say, there's only so much you can do with these effects these days. You know what I mean? Like that hasn't been done before. So you do end up kind of like following certain trends because those trends are all that thing can do. You know, it's like tube screamers. Tube screamers do one thing really, really well, and they give you that mid hump. You know, and that's really, really cool if you like that kind of thing. So, but there's not much more you can do with a tube screamer other than give you that mid hump and a boost. You know, you can't use it for kind of like much else. You know, you can put it in front of an amplifier to help tighten up an amp. You can use it as an overdrive and a boost, but that's about as far as it goes. You know what I mean? Same with a wah-wah pedal. You know, it's you can use it to wah-wah-wah. You can half cock it if you want, or have it somewhere in position to do money for nothing or Mick Ronson kind of stuff. Or you can use it like, you know, Jimi Hendrix and John Frusciante, where it's really expressive. And that's about as far as it goes. So an octave, same with distortion pedals. You know, you can have it set for mass distortion or mild distortion or kind of somewhere in the middle. You know, it does one thing or the other, and you can have it set harsh or bright. You know, I mean, there's only a certain amount of things that certain things do. And the octave pedal is exactly the epitome of that. It does the exact same thing. You know, it goes low or it goes high, or it goes low and high, and then your guitar sits in the middle. And you either use it for chords, soloing, or riffs. And that's about as far as it goes. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just being an idiot. Probably am, because that's very common in being Dave Simpson. But I don't know. But again, people of the tube, I request your input on this question, because that's kind of where I stand with this. But can you think of any ways to use like an octave divider, like an octave pedal, like an octaver, that kind of like doesn't sound gimmicky? I mean, I don't like that word gimmicky. You know, I don't think that kind of makes much sense to the actual what that pedal is. You know, I mean, I don't think octave dividers are gimmicky pedals. I think they're mega pedals. I love them, and using them in a way that's been used before doesn't make it gimmicky to me, if that makes any sense. But again, it's just me. Yeah, my opinion doesn't matter to anybody but me, and that's the way it should be. People of the tube, definitely. You know, always. You know, your opinion matters to you. Don't try and force it on other people. But this is my opinion on it. But just because I say it doesn't mean it's so. You know, it doesn't make it gospel. Same with anybody, really. Just because somebody says it doesn't mean it is. Just make it so. You know. But like I say, I mean, the way I would use an octave, like I say, is if I was doing riffs, I would use it on the low setting. If I was doing solos, I'd use it on the high setting. And that's about it. You know, I wouldn't really use it for anything else. But that's me. You know, but I've got no desire to try and reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, my heroes are Jimi Hendrix and John Frusciante, and these guys have already took a guitar, and Rory Gallagher and Mike McCready and people like that. They already took a guitar further than I could. So I don't need to reinvent the wheel because they've already done it for me. I just need to take what I want from each of theirs wheels and make my own. You know what I mean? So kind of like it's like a pie of John Frusciante, Jimi Hendrix, Mike McCready, Rory Gallagher, Peter Green, Kurt Cobain, Paul Kossoff, Dave Gilmour, all these people. Just in, you know, they've all got like a place on my little wheel of music. That's a weird analogy. But anyway, so anyway, I hope this answers some kind of your question. I mean, I, as usual, I mean, I don't know if that's a really very good answer because I'm always like, But again, that's where I stand with it anyway. But I understand your kind of like frustrations with that kind of thing. Of kind of like, you know, you just end up using it the way everybody uses it. But I think that kind of pedal is that kind of way. You know, like I say, there's only a certain amount you can do with any pedal. No pedal that kind of does like multiple million things. You know, even multi-effects units have limits. You know what I mean? But I think limits are good. You know, limits will kind of like push you. And I think it comes down to kind of more of what you play with an octave than kind of like, you know, because Rory would, like I say, Rory would solo. He'd be like, it'd be doing stuff like that with an octave divider on the low octave on, really loud, you know, and it's really cool, you know. So he'd be doing stuff like that, which kind of goes against kind of what people. I mean, I wouldn't do that if I didn't know Rory did it. I learnt that sound from Rory, but I don't particularly like doing when I play it. If I play a solo with low octave on, it sounds cack. Rory made it sound amazing. When I use it, it sounds like crap, so I don't do it. So I just use it for riffs and stuff like that. But again, it's just finding what you want. You know, finding what you want out of it, really. And doing what you want. You know, and you know, just finding your own little voice with it and finding the sound you like. If that makes any sense, I don't know if it does, but hopefully it does. But yeah, I don't know. Hello, fear. Anyway. I don't know. I hope that's a question. Like I said, I do apologise if that's not a very good answer, but like I say, that's where I stand with kind of the octave divider kind of thing. Is that's what I would use it for. That's where I would go with it. It's just, you know, I would use it in the same way it's always kind of used. Really, I'm not really, like I say, I'm not interested in trying to reinvent the wheel of the octave divider pedal. You know, the way that it's been used in the past makes me happy. I'm not really trying to think of something different to do with it or this and the other. You know. Like I say, I mean, no offense, I prefer a whammy pedal to the octave divider pedal. I like to have the control. I think that's really, really cool. Anyway, so yeah, I hope that's such a question. I hope answers your questions okay. People with Tube, like I say, take one of the intro jam is coming at the end. Like I say, let me know which one you preferred and why. And I say, let us know, people with Tube, chime in on question 4 as well. Let us know your opinions on that one. And yeah, anyway, I'll see you again on Friday for another vid, everybody. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. And yeah, I'll see you again. I'm going to go and get a cup of tea, because I think that's the only thing that's going to keep me alive right now. I'm going to put like 10,000 sugars in it as well, just to get like, you know, some kind of sugar high. You know, so rock and roll, man. Cocaine? Huh, yeah, right. Got sugar and tea. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you again. Goodbye now. Thank you very much.